older, I'm learning that.
Right?
You know how you think, you at like a certain age, you're like, oh, this is me, this is who I am, like this is my set personality, I'm confident, this is who I am. I think I've learned like I keep evolving. Like this is just not Jamila now. I just keep learning more every day, and it's like I'm evolving. I'm not the same person I was like, fall of last year, let alone 3 months ago. So yeah, that's what I'm learning.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, I just had like a huge breakdown because, not like a breakdown, but just a realization that my life now doesn't look anything like I pictured it would look years ago. Like you plan, you think, you envision yourself doing all of these things, hanging around these specific people, and then you look around and you're like, wow, like I can actually choose the energies that I want around me, and it's not just people who I grew up with or people who I think are, I guess, from my specific demographic, or there are people who I never would have thought I'm relating to and learning from. And I think as I get older, I'm, I don't know, I guess constant evolution, obviously.
Right.
Like, yeah. It's kind of crazy. It's like duh, but it's not like you.
Yeah,
Like
you actually realize, and it's like, oh, this is what's happening. Like you're experiencing something the same.
I feel like I'm coming to terms with understanding that my passion is going to feed me. Like I definitely entered college like, oh, I'm gonna get this money, I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna be banking, and it's just like, no, it's not what ended up happening. It's like I was more passionate about helping others, and the way I want to help others is something that I'm still trying to figure out. But it's like I just started taking like dance classes at Alvin Ailey again, and I'm just like, I haven't done this in years, but it's just like this is feeding me. I have no job right now. And I'm asking my parents to like help me out, but this is just me rediscovering myself. So just like going, like it doesn't matter how old you are, it's just like you have this chance to always recreate and reinvent yourself and just find out more about yourself the older we get too.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, I'm going through the same thing. Like I'm discovering my passion all over again, and it's really hard to explain that to your parents.
Yeah.
Your parents, if they're supporting you, and they think that, oh, you have to get this job, you have to be out there, you have to grind, and it's like, I know that it's going to come to me because I'm putting myself out there. But as I get older, I'm realizing like I have to be patient with myself, and I can't expect other people to be patient with me. I just have to. It's like at this time in my life, I'm really like I'm doing things for myself because I spend a lot of time doing things for others or doing things that I think others would want from me. And now it's like, no, this is my time. This is what this is what I want to do. So if nobody's there to support you, then you have yourself at the end of the day.
Do you consider yourself a feminist? Why or why not?
It's such a layered question.
It is such a layered question because I do. I definitely do. And I say that because I've never thought of myself inferior to men. Like I've never thought of myself that way. And I think that was a lot of my mother's influence and the fact that I grew up around such strong women. And I had men in my life as well, but they respected the women around me. And I feel like that's why. How I go about it and the things that I believe in and what like people feel that I should be concerned with, or like I feel like now this word is like, oh, it means that you have to be a certain way. And I don't necessarily hold myself to those standards, but I do consider myself a feminist.
I love women. I think women are the greatest creation. We are the original. We're everything. But there's a place for women and there's a place for men. Just that's my opinion. Do I think that women can do what men do? Of course, and better. But being a feminist kind of, I don't want to say it downgrades the role that men play, but it's given men an excuse to not step up and be men. And the thing is with feminists is that we're uplifting ourselves and we're putting a lot of blame on men, but we're not really encouraging them to change. And that's why I'm like kind of iffy about the whole feminist word and the connotation that comes behind being a feminist.
I'm very big feminist. I say it all the time. Because I feel like people bring it up, like, oh, well, you're emasculating men. It's just like, men are still getting paid more. Like, I hate when I tell a man that I'm feminist and I go out on a date and they're like, oh, we're splitting. You make more than me. This is what feminism is, to make sure that we're even. Capitalism broke up the household so that women and men had to work after the men came back from war. That's just how it ended up happening. It's centered around like, oh, this is women's rights, oh, is this, but it's like, there's so much more in terms of the structure for how our capitalistic economy has us working in the household anyway. Like, one person can't even support the household. You know, I'm not trying to emasculate a man because I have to work, but it's just like, you know, it's just so hard to even get a job, get a salary job, keep a salary job, and just that frustration.
Very glamorized right
for
now.
Sure.
And it's taking away from the fact that we really need
from the message.
Yeah, we really need to be learning.
I completely agree, and that's why I'm always just like, Beyonce, call yourself something.
Right.
Whatever. Like.
What is your favorite non-physical aspect of yourself? I'll start with creativity. It's something that has fueled me for so many years. I'm able to express myself creatively, and that's pretty much the only way that I know how. That's why I've chosen it as my career, being an artist. And the way that I think affects my creativity, because I'm always in my head. I'm always in my head thinking about new things, thinking about humanity, thinking about culture, thinking about thinking about other people and how they perceive the world, and I love having conversations with people, and just picking their brains, bouncing energy off of each other, and that affects me creatively because I use that in the type of art that I create. I make like abstract art, and a lot of it has to do with encounters that I've had with people. How I love to. I'm a very loving and forgiving person, and sometimes it gets the best of me, and sometimes I get taken advantage of for that reason, but it's just how I am. Like, I can't really change that about myself, but I love the fact that I could do that because I'm constantly challenging myself and how I feel about others. And
I tend to put myself in people's shoes a lot, just because even if I haven't experienced it, I just tend to put myself in people's shoes before I, go to judge, or before I go to say something that, that would normally be my response. I go to like, no, wait, you have to, think about what they've been through, think about how this affected them, and then, put your filter on, and then, judge or help them based off of that.
All right.
I I wish more women, I wish more women, I feel like, understood themselves better and not be so driven by how society wants to direct them. I feel like it's just so important to find your voice. And I feel like we're silenced a lot as women in a lot of spaces. And I think it's really important, like, find your voice. Like, I feel like your voice is so powerful. Like, you know, if you don't say nothing, they're going to tell you that you enjoyed everything. And people make a lot more assumptions when you're silent. Yeah.
If you've ever gone through a rough breakup, how did you deal with it?
Block. Block everything.
And I found myself being in a relationship with someone who was just really, really emotionally scarred and bruised. And it's like, you know, I cared for her so much, so it's like you have that aspect, you have a relationship aspect, and then you have like a friendship aspect. Then it's like, well, I'm not going to leave you because so many other people have left you in your life. I'm not going to be that person. Like, I want to uplift you. I want to be there for you. And I just found myself, because she was so depressed, I found myself getting that way, you know, becoming depressed and taking on her emotions, even though that's not even my personality. I found myself changing. And just one day I just had to like, from, you know, finally, like, sit down and just relax and be in a serene place and just think about, like, Jamila, what are you doing? This isn't you. This isn't how you want to live your life. And I just had to kind of just be like, you know, I wish you the best, because I do, and I want you to grow, and I want you to be so happy. But this is like Armageddon meets. It just shouldn't happen, you know. I can't be your friend. Like, I just, you need to heal, and I need to get back to being Jamila, because I'm not helping anyone being, you know, like this now. So
I'm not going to mislead you to think that I'm really going to be there 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I think we like to think there's so much forever in being young, but sometimes it is best to just let go and let God.
Ain't that the truth? That is so true. The journey is weird, though. I mean, no, it's not weird. I feel like it's great. I feel really great. The journey of getting back to yourself after you have done with the situation. It's so crazy that you're like, where was you at, girl? Like, you think about how you were before everything, and you're like, yeah, remember, like, you used to do this all the time. Like, you were never hardly ever depressed or sad or whatever. Yeah. Like, that person like that, you didn't like that, remember? Like, you actually don't like to do that, but you know, it's interesting how, you know, and I feel I relate to that too, about being a really, really giving and loving person. And if I find myself loving a person, I give a lot. And I used to, and after, you know, getting out of situations, you think, well, you know, now I gotta pull back and I shouldn't do that. But I'm learning to forgive myself and learn that, hey, yes, I am a giving person. And I have to be okay with knowing that I give without needing something back. And I think, you know, society makes us think that, like, the game, you know, the whole, like, if, you know, you don't want to get played and da-da-da-da, but it's like, hey, I think the more strong you are, it makes you even stronger when you are able to give yourself to a situation and know when to call it quits and say it's okay, you know, and like, it happens, we love, we move on, doesn't work, works, great, whatever, but I think the knowledge and the strength it takes to walk away and start that journey of, okay, getting back to me is very, very rewarding. What is the most fulfilling thing you've done for yourself lately? Okay, this is pretty easy here. So I recently I recently started studying at an acting studio, and it has been the most fulfilling thing for me because when I graduated school, I was like, I'm not, because everyone was like, you have to take class, and I was like, well, I just got done paying, all this money for acting school, so like, why would I go to another studio and pay more? I just learned all this knowledge, like, let me just like live life, whatever. And so I did for a year, and then just the universe, brought this studio about, and I've been studying, and it's been the most fulfilling thing for me because I realized that as an actor, you have to, just like any other artist or any other athlete or any other anything, you have to practice, you have to exercise the muscle. Like, everyone needs to put the art out there. And so I realized that without an outlet, without a studio, without a group of people that I trust, I have no outlet, and therefore I'm just, dying really artistically.
What do you feel is your biggest struggle as a woman? My biggest struggle, I feel like, as a woman, just planning out my life, trying to be a mother and a worker, and just the superwoman complex that we kind of are pushed on us.
What is one piece of advice you would give to the younger you? Goody in yourself. Believe in yourself. And I'm just now starting to believe in myself because I've had a lot of opportunities in my life, and I've had the privilege of having people believe in me way more than I believed in myself at the time. And that's carried me through. That's carried me to where I am now. And all of those people who believed in me so much are now starting to not fade away, but they just aren't in my life as much as they were in the past, as they were then. And so now it's like I have to be my own cheerleader. And if I would have learned that discipline when I was younger, who knows? But at least I'm learning now. But yeah, definitely I would believe in yourself, girl.
I would piggyback off of that too. I would definitely tell my younger self to believe in myself and believe that I'm worth it and that I'm beautiful and that people love me and people appreciate me. I spent a lot of my younger years, my most trying time in my life, surprisingly, was when I was in elementary school, because I was so different from all the other kids, and I was harassed every day, and I was called every name, and I'm just like looking around, and I'm like, I am 10 years old, like there's no reason why I should be depressed, there's no reason why I should be feeling like I'm not worth anything, and I didn't really have anyone that I could really speak to at the time, and I went through a very, very deep depression, like terribly low self-esteem, and to see myself now and where I am now, and to look back at who I was, it's a complete 360. So I really would love to just tell myself, like, you're worth it, and you're powerful, and what people have to say about you, it's just words. It doesn't compare, or it doesn't really dictate who you are as a person.
I would just tell myself, don't float. Like, yes, it's okay to go with the flow, but when you really want to go after something that you've always dreamt of, you have to pursue that. You have to really go after that. Flowing is something in life that you're passionate about. It doesn't always happen that way, and I flowed. I'm grateful for where I am, but if I was just a little bit more driven, I tell myself, stay driven, stay persistent, it's going to happen.
I think I would say telling you just to be more confident. I believe that when I was younger, I I was not even sheltered. I was just in more so of a family that, you know, we were all just so loving and so like, oh, you know, like I guess it was kind of sheltered because it's like I didn't have any knowledge of like really the outside world and how people would view me. So it's like I was homeschooled for a while. So when I did get into school, it was like, you know, yeah, I always had friends, but it's like, no, now you're in a like you're in a school. You're of different people who don't know you. So now it's like, oh, well, why, you know, like it's so much judgment, I feel, and I start to be like, oh, well, this has always been good. Like, why, you know, now it's a bad thing. Now, you know, I have so many things I'm self-conscious about, and now it's like, you know, I don't believe in myself, and now I'm scared to do this because I don't want to be made fun of. And that stuck with me. I mean, you think like elementary, like, oh, you know, it's like a tiny thing, but that stuck with me for a while, and I had to slowly but surely just get out of it and not let what people's thoughts define me and how I act and my characteristics, because at the end of the day, we're all individuals, and if we keep going off of, you know, what people say and how if they don't like that, I mean, that's their opinion, you know. You have a right to have your opinion in your own individualistic ways, and that's what I tell myself.